right. Yeah, so I'm gonna try streaming on some gameplay development on YouTube. Just try to I've tried I've tried Twitch a couple times, but it'd be a lot more convenient if it was just all on YouTube. I do like the Twitch platform and all that, but just having it all uploaded to YouTube, plus I have a bigger following on YouTube and all that, it might work out. Probably not going to get any viewers this time because I'm mostly just testing things out, but this should be saved to the YouTube channel for anyone to watch. Though I need to make sure that audio is working, so I'm going to try muting myself so that I can listen to the I listen to the stream myself so that I can listen to. All right, yeah, so I just took off the mute and it sounds like everything's working. So yeah, let's get started. So I'm gonna be using I've been working on this platformer for a little bit now that it doesn't really have a name. I titled the project a roguelike platformer, though it's not really gonna be that anymore. I've kind of changed my idea about it a whole bunch. What I'm going to be working on right now is probably adding some weaponry to the game, like a gun. Like you can shoot right now, but it doesn't really have any sprite. You can just spawn bullets basically. And yeah, so I'm using C++ and SFML for the main graphics and programming of the engine and all that. Yeah, cool. If things would start up, that'd be really nice. They've done a lot to Visual Studio 2017 to make it a lot faster, which is very nice. But yeah, this is kind of my design document. I'm writing it all in Markdown just so I can have it nice and formatted, maybe potentially put it on a website somewhere. But yeah, this is just kind of simple stuff. It'd be nice if you guys don't read it though, because it's really cringy. But yeah, so yeah, let's get started with this project. So yeah, I've been working on it for about, I would say, a month and a half, maybe not even that. And that's, of course, with a full school schedule, so it's not like that crazy right now. It's really ugly, basic programmer art. The art style that I kind of want to go for is kind of like this vaporwave, you know, that aesthetic art style that's kind of has the pink, blues, and purple and all that. I think it looks really nice. I think a game that uses that art style would look like it would be really, really cool. Yeah. I'm just gonna run the game to show it off a little bit, show you guys what I have so far. It's really simple again, and it's running using a entity component system. Everything's an entity component system. You can see up at the top right or top left corner, rather, we have a little inventory. And oh, we got a bad guy. They currently don't do any damage. But yeah, I can quit my sword right here, and then now I can start swinging really cheesily and whatever. And I'm looking at the stream. It looks really laggy, so I'm sorry about that. I'm gonna try to upgrade my setup sometime, but I don't really. This is the first time I've done it, so this is kind of a test. But yeah, you can kill these guys. They can't kill you. You can attack them. They turn red and. They have this AI where they'll bounce at you if you're close enough and at random heights and stuff like that. I really worked on making the game feel smooth. There's a few things I want to do, like for instance, lerp the camera so that it won't directly target you. And we might actually work on that today. We'll see. But yeah, so super simple. It's a good, launching point, I think, for actually designing a game. It's a pretty good engine. Like I mean, the physics work well enough. Like, there's a couple kind of, like, if you jump on the corner, sometimes it'll glitch out and stuff. But I haven't, like, passed through the world or anything like that. So it's a pretty, it's robust, which I think is really important. Some platformers, if you lag through the world, it's not fun at all. All right, so let us get started. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, having a camera that lerps towards the player might be kind of fun to add right now. So I'm going to check that out. I'm going to go to the player component right here. And let's see, where do I control the camera? I'm not doing everything very efficiently or anything like that right now. Things are being done kind of naively, but I just want to have the game up and running, and then I'll work on efficiency and stuff like that. So it looks like, yeah, we're just setting the camera center to the player's center, which that's okay for now. So how do I want to go about this? Let's think. So we want to get the distance from the camera's current position to the player's current position. And then we want to interpolate it slowly and move the camera to the player's position. So to get the distance, let's just do I think I need the let's do cam x dist or something like that. And I want this to be the absolute value. Well, no, not the absolute value. So it looks like the player has the local reference to the camera. Let's get the center X position, and we want to subtract the player's body its X position, just like that. So do the same thing for the Y position right here. Now, I don't know how I'm going to have to deal with this with sorry, my other monitor was being weird. I don't know how we're going to deal with this with what am I trying to say? With zooming in and all that, we might have to scale some stuff, but I'm just going to try doing this very simply. So what we can do now is we can say set the center of the camera to cam x dist y dist. What would that do? Let's just multiply that by 0.2. Let's just see what happens. So we get the distance. We want to move it by all right, let's make a local reference to camera. Just like that. That way we don't have to type in player camera. And then cam x distance. And let's go. And we don't have anything. So let's think about this real quick. How would I go about doing this? So we get the distance from the player, and we want to divide it by 2 because we want to get half the distance or we want to get right between the 2 points, and then we want to move it by that distance. I'm getting a little bit confused because this is SFML, so you have to pass, it's very object oriented, so you have to pass everything through methods. So the way I usually do this isn't working. Let's go back to this real quick. No, I'm doing this backwards. All right. I might actually make a separate camera module just so I can have more control over it. Because all it does is it's just an SF view. So we might be able to, because I want to do it in a more functional, like procedural way instead of an object-oriented way where we have to say get and then set. It would just make our life a little bit easier. So I'm going to try doing that. Let's see if we can add a file here, or maybe there'll be a place that we can put it. Well, okay, yeah. So let's create a new file, and I'm just going to name it camera. And yeah, we'll make it a structure. Let's include SFML. And let's extend SFU. Let's not extend SFU, actually. Let's have a private field. No, let's leave it public. And let's just make this, let's make a public view. And then we can say, or better yet, we're gonna make it private. And we're gonna have a get view. Like that. And then we're gonna have a vector2. That's gonna be the position. Or let's name it center. And this initialize this to 0. All right, so I just added the. Let's just from this function we're just going to return, or we're going to say this view dot set center to this position, or this center rather, and then we're just going to return this view like so. All right, let's do some refactoring. All right, so here's where we have the camera. So we're gonna instead use our own camera structure. Let's include camera, and let's go here. I'm gonna comment this line out and just say camera, camera. And then let's set the center. Well, okay, it's gonna initialize to 0, 0. So now we're gonna have some issues, of course, because we have to do some refactoring. So game scene, let's see, it takes in a view, so we're just gonna take in a camera. And let's include camera here. And this is gonna be a pointer to a camera. All right, let's fix that in the implementation file. This needs to be a camera, and then get view. Dot get size. Just like so. All right, so now we need to have the make player function take in a camera, and it looks like we're including it, or it's getting included somewhere, but I'm going to do it here just in case. Let's replace this with a camera. And the main reason why I want to do this is because I might want to implement like shaky cam, or like, I don't know, something like that. Smooth camera. Looks like we have 4 people watching, so what's up, guys? How's it going? I think that's pretty cool. I think this would be a lot easier way for me to actually make content on this channel, because it doesn't require editing, which is really hard when your laptop is not that great, and also when you don't have a lot of time, because I'm a full-time student, so it can be kind of tricky. All right, let's see if we have fixed a lot of our issues. Not quite. So we have to set view. Okay, that's easy to fix. Let's just get the view. Do we have an issue? It's not a pointer, so we just need to do a dot. All right. Wait for it to compile. I don't know why it's having to recompile. Well, we did make a lot of changes, so it's gonna have to recompile quite a bit. All right, that's to be expected. Get center. Okay, so we can just replace this with center. A little bit easier. Now we can just say, let's make a new vector, and let's do body center X, and then body center Y. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, one useful method we could add too this body would be to get a vector 2 from... Why am I doing this inline? This is terrible. I'm going to actually move these over to the implementation file, just to speed up compilation. All right. All right, there we go. So we just moved this over. Those aren't functions. Never mind. We're good. Let's have a... I'm actually going to remove the inline from it. That wouldn't really do much for us right now. And let's go over here and let's say SF vector 2 F center. All right, let's expand this and let's just say return center X. The reason why I'm doing this is everything in SFML, I believe, is referenced from the top left corner. So it's kind of nice being able to get the very center of an object using a vector. So let's find the player. Now we can just say the center of the camera is equal to the center of the player. And let's build this and see what happens. Come on. This is the one of the biggest drawbacks for me when it comes to working in C++ is that compile speed's really not that great. Ooh. Why is everything so, like, oh, I know why. Because we forgot to set the size or something like that. Right. Okay. All right, let's create a constructor for this guy. Was that a float rect? It was. And let's just say region or something like that. Let's take that in as a reference. And now we can say view, and then we can pass that in, I believe. And then we want to pass in region right here. All right, so let's go back to the main and let's cut this and paste it in the constructor. All right, that looks a lot better. Okay, so yeah, I mean, now we have a little bit more control over the camera. I don't know if I'm going to work on the smooth camera thing right now because I kind of want to. So as you can see, we can shoot bullets, right? And yeah, the lag's pretty bad. I don't know. Maybe it's just my computer. I don't know. So I'll try to figure that out in a bit. Maybe I'm streaming at too high of a bit rate or resolution or something. But anyway, let's go back to here. So anyway, I can shoot and I can just spam bullets like crazy. It doesn't really hurt. It doesn't hurt any entities, even though all the bullets are part of the physics system. So I'm gonna try. Well, first off, I'm gonna limit the shooting speed. So let's find right here. I'm gonna make it is key pressed so that it only fires when you click the button and it doesn't keep firing until you release. And let's think. All right, so we have that. Now let's check that out. I also want to make it so that you have to have a weapon equipped that can shoot, because right now you can shoot no matter what, even though you have to have a weapon. You have to have it equipped to be able to use a sword. So let's see if we can make a gun item. I do have a lot of inspiration. This game's really going to be inspired by Cave Story. I really love Studio Pixel. I love what they've done with Cave Story. I love what they've done with Caro Blaster. I don't know if you guys have heard of that game or played with that game, but it's a really cool little indie game created by the same team that made is it in here? But made by the same team that made Cave Story, which is really cool. And it's a really fun little game that's on like iOS and Android and all that. I believe it's on Android. All right, so again, programmer graphics gonna be kind of terrible. I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time on them right now, at least. Later on, I will focus on it a little more. I'm just gonna choose a distinct color because again, the color scheme of this game is gonna be kind of really bright and kind of vaporwave if you're familiar with that kind of aesthetic. But yeah, let's just make a simple, really ugly gun. I guess we can do a little bit of a better job than that. Alright, so we got that. Let's create a little bit of a handle. I need to reset. I need to reset paint.net to not be so dumb. Anyway, no, this is terrible. Let's think. You know what? It's good enough. Let's move it up a couple pixels just so we're saving space. Let's save that and let's add that sprite to the game. Oh, how do I do this? Let me go to the game, because the way my entity or my item system is separate from, no, it's the same as my entity system, but I generate items a little bit differently. So let's see. I might even actually do it from the tile map. Let's open tiles. I don't really remember. Let's think. Yeah, it looks like, so I create two items, and this is where I make it. Alright, so I'm actually going to put this in a separate code block just so I can reuse the name pickup. In the future, this will be generated from the sprite map, or the tile map, but for now I'm not doing that. So I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to paste it down here, and this is it's going to be the same size as, I believe it's the same size. Yeah, it looks like 8 pixels high. 7 pixels high. Well, we can say it's 8. Well, let's say it's 7. Alright, so it's 7 pixels high, 16 wide. It's going to take let's create a different item here. Let's name it the gun. Super generic gun. Space these up a little bit. And it's going to be a weapon. And this is the region, so it's going to be 37. Oh, right, that's sprites. I'm going to move it over 1. I forgot, this sprite's an odd number of pixels, I believe. Alright, anyway. So 38, 0, 16 by 7. Alright. So in theory, this should spawn an item. We're going to actually move it to location 300, just so it's a little bit closer to us. And let's run the game. This is one thing I really love about entity component systems is that they're super fast just to add an entity to the game. And it just works. Oh, I didn't add the item. Let's change the item to a gun. It usually just works. Like, they're not super flexible at times when you want to create like a very specific AI, but with like lambdas and stuff in C++, it can be really nice. And we're using the right now we're using the this gun like it's a sword, but that will change later. For right now, I'm not going to worry about it too much. So let's go over here. So now we want to check. Well, let's see. So let's see, where do we use sword? So it needs to be Ah, it's right here. Okay. Alright, so we have a weapon type. I guess I could add another item type. Gun. Sure, why not? And let's go back to player. Let's see. Yeah, let's do that. Alright, so... Whoop. IT gun. If player attack timer is less than or equal to 0, then we want to actually do this, and then we're going to break. And we're just going to copy all of the code right here. We might extract this out to a separate function later. Now I'm not going to bother with it. But now, so we create a sword and all that, and we spawn it. We're treating the gun like it's a sword, basically. But I also want it to generate a projectile. So we're going to do that as well. And I kind of want it to be outside the barrel of the gun. So we need to... I think we can just... Let's just change this to a 1. And see what happens. That's one of my favorite things about programming, is just seeing what happens. Seeing if it works or not. And it's a lot better if it compiles faster, but oh well, what can you do? I guess you could use Lua, but honestly, like, I've been so spoiled with type safety. Going from a type safe system to something that's not type safe is not that easy. Okay, so we want to go to the game scene and change this item to a gun type. And also I want to go to the player and I want to disable, because right now I can shoot a bullet just for testing with the C key. I want to disable that just to, just because. And we're compiling. Alright, let's go collect the item, see what happens. Alright, so there we go. So we have a gun, it spawns in, and then it almost instantly gets destroyed, and it spawns a bullet. But what's kind of cool is that now I'm spamming X, and as you can see up here, my gun's not selected, so it's not shooting. And now let's see if I can pick up the sword, which I can. I can use the sword, I can swap my weapon over to the gun, and use that. Sweet! Alright. Awesome. So let's make the entity get hurt by the gun. And I believe everything's set up to do that, because right here we're looping through all the entities, and I know it's not a very great system right now. In the future we'll use, I mean, it's never going to become an issue enough that I'm probably going to do this, but if it does become a slowdown issue, we could section all the entities into a kind of like a node tree, and then only have ones that are really close to each other, you know, do collision intersections and stuff. But we're doing simple like box collisions, so I'm not too worried at this point. But yeah, so what we do is we add all the entities that collide with the physics body. We add it to a list. We clear the list, of course, before we do this. We add it all to the list, and then all the other systems after that can now check the list and see if they're colliding with any other entity, and then handle that. So in entity or enemy, I think. Enemy AI, this is where I keep all the AI code for the enemies. I try to keep the amount of files that I have down as small as possible so it doesn't take forever to compile. But let's see. Handle enemy click. Oh, it's right there. Alright, cool. So I guess what we can do is just say or contains value other tags. Or maybe I can say other, well, let's see what tags we have. Actually, it's an entity.h. Player weapon. I guess I could give the bullets the player weapon tag. I think that would be the easiest thing to do. Why not? It may not make a lot of sense verbally, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe that'll work out. Actually, I do that in the create player projectile thing right here. All right, so, well, I guess not. Oh, that's not right. Huh, okay, cool. All right, there we go. Oh yeah? Yeah, Kero Blaster is an awesome game. So much inspiration. Like, the story is so, like, it's so contained and it's so, like, kind of smart, and also there's a huge speedrunning community behind it. It's kind of cool. Anyway, so yeah, now we can hit the enemies with it, and they die, which is really cool. Let's hit this guy. Oh, one thing I want to do real quick is actually take this guy. All right, so the way I'm creating this guy is I'm using the game scene when I actually have a system for loading and enemies from a tile map. So I'm gonna copy this guy right here. I'm gonna paste it. Just save it, export it. Here. Now let's go over here and let's just remove this guy. All right, so that should work in theory. Now I'm not sure what I need to work on. Let's think. Let's add player health. It's been a long time in coming for that. So let's go over to, I'm gonna add it to the sprite. Here you can see all my gorgeous sprites that I spent a lot of time working on. Let's select a region. You can make this sprite 16 by 16. This is going to be the heads up icon. Right now I'm using the DV32 color palette, but in the future I'm going to be making my own color palette, and I'm going to be kind of changing the whole art style of this game to a more, I don't know, like the color scheme I want to go for is this wallpaper right here, kind of. Where you kind of have these really kind of, I don't know, really cool colors that are really colorful, and I think they're really easy on the eyes, so I think it would make a very visually appealing game. And I don't see a lot of games utilizing that art style too much. Is this even? Yeah. Let's go 3, 4. No, let's go 3 right there. And let's do that. Super simple heart. I'm not even going to add shading right now just because I don't think there's going to be a lot of shading in this game. It's going to be mostly flat textures. So I think the player, let's see. Let's go to the make player function down here and let's add the health component. And the player should start off with, oh, I guess I don't even have that yet. I should actually real quick add that. I think health is in here. Yeah, it is. So let's create a constructor that also, yeah, that also has a health thing parameter. And let's just set amount to health. There we go. All right, so we have the health right there. We're just gonna start them off at 3. And now, let's see, UI render. This is where we want to render the health. So what we can do is I wanna have the health in the top, preferably in the top left corner, but since I'm using the top left for the UI, well, let's see if we can move that over. Let size of inventory in pixels is equal to inventory size times tile size scaled plus tile size scaled plus 8 times, wait, this is stupid. Okay, so inventory size times tile size scaled plus the offset. So it's the tile. So it's just going to be 8 times tile scale. Maybe. Well, let's try it. Let's try it. So we want to move this size of inventory in pixels minus size of inventory in pixels. Or let's do I'm just going to hard code it for now, just because I don't think I have a really good way to get the window size currently. Let's add some parentheses just to ensure order of operations and stuff like that. And I'm going to add a note, hard coded. There we go. Just so I can, if I want to make my code more robust, I can just type in @hard coded, and then wherever I have hard coded values, I'm not doing it everywhere, but wherever I have hard coded values, I can jump there and fix the issue. Let's just see what happens. I'm hoping this is going to be in the middle of the screen. Chances of that happening are close to 0, so we'll see though. Alright, where do we have an issue? We need to initialize the component and pass it in its ID. Okay, hey, that's kind of towards the center. It's not quite perfect. Oh, and also the icons are wrong. Let's see, what did I do? So it's the inventory size. All right, I'm going to remove the offsets in the middle and just get it centered, and then once I feel like that's working, I'll add the offsets again. Oh, I see what I was doing wrong. All right, well, I'm going to still do that just for reasons. Let's see if that's in the middle. Not quite. Oh, you know why? It's because I'm an idiot and I hard coded that. And we have the window right there, so we could have just gotten the, okay. Get view, I believe, that's not a pointer, get size.x. I forgot, we're actually scaling the window down according to the size of the monitor. So it's not going to be 1028. All right, yeah, that's centered. Let's add that scaling, or that margin, or margin? Yeah, margin. And you get my CSS terms correct here. That's not correct. Times I. I'm surprised, like consistently around 3 watchers. That's that's not correct. Plus 8 times I. All right, there we go. And now we actually want to account for that in this. So we want to say plus inventory scale times, or inventory size times I, and that will get us the full size in pixels, and that should work. Now we want to make sure we have the item in the right position, which would be just about the same thing, like so. Just copy that, get rid of that 32, paste it in there, get rid of that. And then we want to move the cursor there, so let's get rid of this 32, paste it in there. All right. Might save that to a separate variable just so we don't have to rewrite a bunch of stuff. Width is undefined. How's it undefined? Oh, wait, what? Did I delete something? Oh, it's in the global scope. And we can remove this comment. Alright, there we go. Now let's collect an item and see if it... Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I kind of like it in the center. I think I might move it to the bottom sometime, but for now, in the center will work. So now in the top left corner, let's draw the health bar. Or I guess it's not really going to be a health bar, but, you know, whatever. So let's get the health component. It's going to be a C. Cast to C health pointer. Actually, I have a little safer cast function or macro right here. Let's do, what do I name it? Entity is self. Get CT health. Let's rename this to something there we go. Alright, so let's say for int I is equal to 0, I is less than health dot amount. I think that's a method call. Let's go check this out. And yeah, it is indeed. Alright, so let's go back to player. Alright, so we're looping through, for each health that we have, we want to draw a sprite. So we want to say SF sprite. And I guess we can do this once and save a little bit of performance. Let's make sure we have the, where do we save it? Sprites. Let's get the texture and sprites. Yeah, sprites. Alright, so we want to say health sprite dot set texture. We want to say sprites. Health sprite dot set texture rectangle. It's an integer rectangle, and it's located 032 and a 16 by 16. All right. So now we want to say health sprite dot set scale, and we want to scale it by the basically the global scale of the game, so tile scale. All right, so now let's draw the sprite. So we're going to say health sprite dot set position, and the position is going to be 32 plus I times tile scale size scale. Yeah, that'll work. And then we're just going to say 0 right there. Well, let's say 32. Yeah, 32 would be good for there. And then let's say window draw health sprites. And we want to add a little bit of margin. So we want to say plus tiled, or let's just say plus let's do this and say plus 8. And let's actually make a constant up here. Just so we can change this without having to change a whole bunch of places, we're going to name it margin, set it equal to 8. Let's copy that down. And where we have an 8, let's just paste that. And let's run it. Let's see if this works. Fingers crossed. Of course. C health is undefined. Let's make sure we include it in. We should. That'd be weird if I didn't. Huh. Alright, that's strange. So there must be some. Oh. Spelled it wrong. That's one sucky thing about using macros, and I really wish C++ had a better, like, I wish they used something like the programming language NIM or Rust's macro system instead of, anyway, I'm getting off topic. Never mind. So I think this needs to take in a, oh, yeah, I need to dereference this. No? Oh, get amount, duh. Usually getters start with the word get. missing a semicolon somewhere. Compile often, guys. That's important in a programming language like C++, because you can make a tiny little error and it'll give you like 1,000 really scary messages and stuff like that. Anyway, so we got health on top. That's cool. That's really cool. So, yeah, cool. So let's make it so the enemies can hit us, which is actually really easy to do because we're using an entity compose system. I can go up to the update function somewhere in here, sure. Let's just get the health component real quick, which we do up here. And we can say for const auto other entity in physics dot collided with. So if there's any entity in here, that means we've collided with an entity. And we can say if other dot tags, or let's use our contains value macro. If it contains the tag e tags enemy, then we know we collided with the enemy, and we can say health damage by 1. Later we'll get the enemy component and have it damage us by that. But what this does is now, since we're using anti-compose system, this will actually color the player, I believe, and it won't just instantly kill him. It'll just take one sprite and things will be really nice. See that? I love it. Whew. And once we die, we don't have a mechanism for reviving ourselves. So what I might do is say, if just temporarily health get amount is equal to 0, then we've died. So we want to say self remove is equal to false because it sets the remove flag automatically. And we want to say self, or let's say body position, and we're just going to hard code a value real quick. Let me remember where we put the player starting off. Right here. So let's just paste this in here. Let's make this a vector2f and let's play. Oh, and we want to add health. Just a second. Just a second. Let's add health right here. Let's say health heal. Let's give him 3 more health. That way we don't die. We revive the player if that happens, and just spawn him at the starting location. We actually have a facility so that if we die, like let me show you. So if we go over here, we're gonna do a platforming challenge right here. We're platforming. Oh, we fall. It's gonna spawn us back here instead of at the very beginning of the game. And if we actually complete the challenge and then fall somehow, it's gonna start us off at the beginning here. And I just have to apologize, by the way, for how laggy the video is. I keep saying that, but I want my videos to be quality, and it doesn't look like it's streaming very well, but I'll figure it out eventually. Hopefully, you guys can at least see, like, programming you don't really need a very good, like, FPS video. Anyway, so yeah, we have this cool system, and I'm doing that by creating these large objects here that basically set the spawn position of the player. So if we die, it'll spawn the player there, which is kind of cool. So anyway, let's test if we can actually die. Do I prefer C? Okay, so I think C++ versus other languages is really, like, it's not that much fun to work with. It's really a pain. But for game development, for instance, it is really a pain to work with. It's not pretty, it's not that much fun, but it does get the job done, I guess. I like the manual memory management. I think that's really important for a programming language. We're gonna not use a macro. I love C#. I use C# all the time. But my last game that I was building with it, the garbage collector. It's just you always have to wrangle with the garbage collector just so you don't have a lot of really weird like lag spikes and stuff like that. And I just got to a point where I'm just like, I just got to go back to C++ and just make the game, because I just want to make the game. I don't care about how pretty the language is, how awesome it is. I just want to have something that works. It's not equal to other tags. one example of ugliness is this right here. Just to find a value inside a vector, or a set, I believe, you have to do this expression right here, and it's annoying, you know? Especially when you come from a language like C#. But I think C++ has a lot of benefits also, for game development especially. Like, it's, I mean, of course it's fast, but it's also, I don't know, like, the structures, everything makes sense. Like, the data types make sense. Why are we having this issue? That's weird. The data types make sense. Like, everything's aligned correctly. Like, you know what things are doing. You can debug them really easily. You know what sizes of all the variables are, stuff like that. Let's think about this for a second. What was the actual error? I guess that would help for us to find. Read access violation. So we might be accessing a deleted object. Yeah, so let's think about this for a second. So if the object gets deleted and then it's going to still be inside the, I guess we can just check if it's null or not. Would that work? Because well, I don't know why that would be an issue, because let's go over to the entity manager. So, oh boy, oh, I'm doing this twice. Yeah, so I'm looping through it once just to remove all the entities, which is highly inefficient, but whatever. And then I'm looping through it twice. So I think I can actually let's just delete this code right here. I think we can just delete that code. I think that might be the, what was the issue? No, yeah, I think that might be the issue. So we want to wait until the end of the frame before we actually remove the entities, I think. All right, so let's get hit in, oh my goodness. Iterator debug level. So the item deleted itself. Huh. Should be erasing the entity from the vector, setting the entities to null. I've been way too lucky with this project so far. I haven't had hardly any of these issues, and it's been so nice. But of course, as soon as I start streaming, I'm gonna get all the null pointer exceptions and bounds or whatever, you know, all the errors. All right, so I guess what we can do is let's check some values. Oh, one thing about C# and C++ that's really great is the debugger. Like the Windows debugger is really nice. All right, so we have 6 entities in the game. They all are set to, yeah, none of them are supposed to be removed. They're all not null, they're all valid. So maybe, oh, hold up. What's up with this? I'm doing some weird stuff there. No, that works. Never mind. This is valid. Oh, tags aren't valid. Why isn't this valid? Let's go over to the entity. So we're just using a set for the tags, and it should be getting constructed because I'm using it should be getting constructed. Probably shouldn't have the implementation here. Yeah, and then Must be accessing freed memory or something like that. Let's see if we can get the error again and go back to that. No, of course it's not going to give it to us. It's not going to do it. Alright, so we do respawn when we die. If we get that bug again, we'll try to fix it again. But yeah, so good progress so far, I think. We might have it so the enemies dodge the bullets. We might also make it so the sword looks less retarded. Ah, shoot. Okay, cool. Very, very cool. One thing we could do to the sword is we can make it like shoot out instead of just like appearing. And it's not going to show up too well on the stream, I guess, but let's see. So I'm getting some warnings on YouTube saying that video output low. Let's see what's going on here. I'm streaming at 30 FPS. I'm doing native resolution, which is just 1080p. But maybe my computer can't handle that. I'm doing 100. I'm gonna lower my bitrate, I think. Well, that's my audio bitrate. I'm not gonna mess with my video bitrate too much because I don't know what that does. I'm gonna have to do some research before I really screw around with that. I don't know. If you guys have any suggestions, let me know. Yeah. Let's see. So, yeah, this shouldn't be too hard to do. We should just be able to go physics body. And this is how we can even implement, if we wanted to, like the Zelda sword from Zelda 1, how it like has like a light beam that shoots out. We can do something like this, but we can set it equal to, let's just set it equal to initial value of 100 times player, or physics rather, direction. And now direction right here is either -1 or 1, depending if it's facing left or right. So it's really useful to use for this kind of stuff. And we want to spawn the bullets closer to the player. So I think that is telescale times physics. What is going on here? Oh, okay, yeah. So this is how the margin from the player. So let's change this over to 0. Just so it spawns in the direct center of the player so we can see it move a little bit easier. I might also increase its life so that it doesn't just despawn immediately. Oh, it's also going to do this to the... No, it's not going to do this again, right? Alright, so let's equip the weapon. It's kind of moving forward. It's really hard to see on stream, so I'm sorry about that. But, let's see. Let's increase the life to, like, max attack time, sure. The full time it takes to attack. Let's actually change this. Let's double that. That way we can go back to here and do times 0.8. Let's cast that to a float. Cool. Alright, let's try this again. I need to fix some of these warnings. Well, that's really boring to do. Not really good stream material. Alright. Let's go to the weapon. Yeah, so it kind of flies forward a little bit. Not enough to really notice. So I think I need to turn off, or let's make the physics friction like close to 0. Or no, closer to 1 rather. Let's try 0.99. So this friction value gets multiplied to the velocity each frame, so that it basically decelerates it, so we can have some smooth. There's the issue again. Yeah, so at least the tags aren't correct. It looks like nothing else is. So we have a null component. Yeah, everything's null. So it must have been deleted somewhere else and still hasn't been cleaned up. I don't know how that can be possible because I don't know. So I'm just gonna do a dirty little hack, and I'm gonna make a note of this. This doesn't fix the issue. This just temporarily fixes it so we can work on more fun things. Fix null. I don't know, something like that. Okay, so we're just gonna say if other is not equal to, or is equal to null pointer continue. All right, let's try this. The heck? Is remove flag set? Remove is true, so I can just say remove. Because before we're ready to remove the entity, it should have been set to null and deleted in the same loop. I don't know. Real weird stuff. Huh, I can't really notice it. Oh, hold up. I know why that does that. And that's actually a good thing that it's doing that right now. Let's go over to basic. I should really rename this file. I've kind of used this to hold all my smaller components, but my track directly, right. So this filter basically says, it basically tracks the player. Okay, so I need to set the offset here, I believe. So this basically this is why the sword constantly follows the player and doesn't get left behind when the player spawns the sword into the game. So to fix this, I've used it's a filter. Where is the track directly component? See track directly. And yeah, this is public. All right, let's change this. So what we can do is we can say, wait, no, we can't. No, we can't. We could change this in the physics component, or maybe we shouldn't bother. I could. If the body has a physics body, which it usually does, so we're going to say let physics is equal to cast ct or c physics pointer to entity get ct physics what's going on? Oh, it's physics body, my bad. What is this called? C physics body. Oh, okay, so we need to include physics system. All right. Been going for over an hour. That's kind of cool. It's been it flies. I'm gonna try to do more of these. They're pretty fun. They kind of put you on the spot, so you kind of have to think harder about what you're doing instead of being lazy. Like, you can't be super lazy on stream, or else there's a chance people can call you out for it. What were we working on again? Right. All right. So let's go over to here. Let's say body position plus equals physics velocity times timer delta time. The way I'm using delta time is kind of weird because I'm using a fixed time step. That's going to change too later, but for now I'm just going to use a fixed time step. And so delta time is basically constant, but in the future I'm going to change it, so I have to multiply everything by delta time just so it's future proof. Yeah, did that work? It looked like it kind of did, didn't it? Might be super hard to see on stream. All right, I'm going to increase the speed and decelerate it a little bit. So let's say I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this, and let's see what happens. I should really spawn the sword in the player's inventory, but you know how it goes. It's like it does it, but then it like stops moving it. Let's turn off friction altogether and see what happens. If this doesn't work, then I know then something bad's going on. Oh, I might be checking if it's a weapon item in the physics engine. And that must be what's happening. So let's go check out what's going on in the physics engine. Oh yeah, solid type. Doesn't have anything to do with gravity scale. Times equals friction. Weird. Are we giving it? We're giving it physics body because it has to collide with other entities. Let's see what's going on here. Let's go to tracked directly. And I'm just gonna, or let's do the filter again here. I'm just gonna make sure this is firing. Let's just print and see if we're getting anything for velocity. We are, yeah. And it's correct and all that. So what I'm going to try to do is remove that. Oh, I know what's going on. I think we need to do this. Well, so the body's being set to the place position. Oh, wait. Track offset. Let's add it to track offset. That's what we need to do. Because that's actually persistent. Alright, so this should shoot the gun really, or shoot the sword really far out, hopefully. And then we can kind of reel it back in and see what feels good. Yeah, there we go. That looks really cool, I gotta say. I might have a weapon that shoots a sword like that. That's kind of cool. Alright, so let's go over to the player. It definitely needs to be faster. And there definitely needs to be some deceleration, so I'm going to turn the friction down to 0.99. I'm going to turn this down, or up to 300, and I'm going to turn down this to, let's say, 5, and I'm going to go to the player right here, and I'm going to turn this down to 30. Come on. Let's go. Yeah, okay, so that's feeling a little better. I think it looks a lot better too. Doesn't look great, but it looks decent or more. It looks better. So I'm watching myself in the other stream just to see how far behind everything is. Yeah, I hate how laggy it is. I need to figure that out. But again, this is just a first attempt, and I think I'm gonna kill the stream in a little bit, but and then see if I can fix it and all that for the next time. But yeah, I think we need to decrease the lifetime of the entity again to around there, and maybe increase the friction a little bit. This is where runtime language is pretty nice, because then you can change values at runtime without having to worry about things, have as much. Okay, I'm gonna increase the life actually, because I like it. I like seeing the sword for a little while, but I want to decrease the friction down to 7 and make it so it can attack a little bit. Well, let's leave it. Let's just see what happens. I might actually create a constants file and load that dynamically and reload it so that I can test this out a little bit better. Yeah, cool. I'm going to definitely decrease friction some more. Just knock this down to 0.9. I think that's the same friction I'm using for all the entities actually, which is good. Yeah, that's a little bit better. I think that's, I mean, for program art, I don't think it's terrible. I think it will do better than what we had before, that's for sure. Cool. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Yeah, I'm going to end the stream. This should be posted to YouTube, hopefully. At least in a little bit. I might do a little bit of editing on it. But yeah, cool. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next stream.